This is Support is Sexy, episode 343. And this week we're doing a special series on starting your side hustle. Today we're going to talk about no job shaming. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm so happy to have you here. It would not be the same without you. And this week, I love a good series. So this week, we're doing a side hustle series. And this is for you, whether you've been thinking about starting a side hustle or you already have one. And maybe this will help you be able to grow and get some ideas about how to grow your side hustle if that's your thing. Maybe not. Maybe you like it just the way it is. Either way, I think there's going to be some good information and tips in here. And this is from things that I know personally in starting my own side hustle and growing them into businesses, and also from the conversations that I've had with women entrepreneurs around the world, many of them who have started their businesses from a side hustle. And I'll share some of that throughout the week with you so you can get some inspiration from that. As well, I'll tell you what episodes those women appeared on. So today, if you heard in the intro, what we're going to talk about is no job shaming. And this is important whether you're doing a side hustle or not. I know now entrepreneurship is so popular. Everybody's talking about it, which is great. It gives many of us, if not all of us, an opportunity to create the lives we want, to have a certain amount of freedom to really work on the things that we want to work on. But not only do we still need people in 9-to-5 jobs, because most of us work with companies, but that might even be something that you enjoy more. I have friends who would never give up their jobs. They love their jobs. They love what they do. They love what they can create. They love the quote unquote security of it. They've been working for many years in their businesses. And you know what? That is all good. So if that is you, and even if you're listening to this podcast or any other that are for entrepreneurs, you don't have to do that in secret. There's no shame in that. You can be interested in both things. There is no job shaming. I don't do it. Honestly, I used to feel like that when I had a job and I wanted to be an entrepreneur and I felt like I wasn't really taking the leap because I had a job. No job shaming. I don't believe in it, and I don't believe anyone should feel like they have to jump full time into entrepreneurship unless they really want to. It's not a should or shouldn't thing. It's if you really want to. Now, that said, if you are thinking about starting a side hustle, even if you don't like your job, even if your job isn't the ideal thing right now, I know you got your mind on the next move. I say, unless you are miserable there or you're having any kind of mental angst there, because some of us go and we hate the job and it really affects other parts of our lives. Barring that, if it's something that you can continue, keep your job. As Lisa Nichols says, think of your job as your investor and it's funding your dream. Think of your job as your investor and it is funding your dream. Now, that said, you have to do what you honorably need to do to satisfy that investor, but then put your all into what you want to create, whether that's moonlighting and you're doing it in the evenings, whether you can take a lunch break and work on it a little bit throughout the day, but keep your job, think of it as an investor, and it's funding your dream. And I will tell you, I wish I had this wisdom before I quit my 6-figure-a-year job. I had a beautiful salary and all that good stuff. But for me, I felt like I wanted to jump ship and jump into it full time. Now, for some people that works. And for me, it's still working out, but it didn't have to be that way. Don't put pressure on yourself or your side hustle to support you before it's ready. It's like expecting an infant coming out of the womb and being frustrated with them because they're not ready to walk on day 2. Do you know what I mean? In other words, support your side hustle, nurture it, and give it time to grow. Another thing to keep in mind around the no job shaming idea, this is about a both and conversation, not an either or conversation. Again, don't push your business to be your end all be all before it's time. You can have both until you know, based on your numbers or based on whatever real measurement of success you've established, that it's time to move on. Your business will let you know. Do not base it solely on how you feel. Speaking from experience, feeling like I had to make a move in order for me to focus on the business instead of thinking of my job as an investor, and how can I have both and as opposed to either or. And that's something that I've spoken about on the podcast before, but that is something in general in my life. There have been many choices that I have made that I made it an either or conversation when it could have been a both and conversation. Things work out as they're supposed to, but you're also supposed to learn along the way. And I love to share lessons I learned along the way with you all. So don't make this, your side hustle, or anything else in your life an either or conversation when it could be a both and. Now, some things are either or. It just is what it is. You know what your boundaries are, so you make sure you hold tight there. But many things could be a both and you can benefit from a both and conversation in your mind than an either or conversation. Now, hopefully I've convinced you to keep your job at least for a while, but here are the reasons why having a side hustle while you have a job makes sense. Because if you're thinking about entrepreneurship, if this is something that you want to grow into a business, now it might be something that you want to just keep as a side hustle, something that you enjoy, which is all good too. But if you're intrigued about entrepreneurship, thinking about going into business, you're starting to learn more about it, become more intrigued, side hustling is a great way to dip your toe in the entrepreneurial waters. You're not sure about what business you want to start? Try it as a side hustle first and test the potential audience and customer. So this way you get to kind of see how it works. You get to see what kind of things you probably didn't consider, because I always say there's learning in action. There's so much you can learn from a podcast. There's only so much you can learn from a book. There's only so much you can learn from going to workshops and networking and all that good stuff. Some things you gotta just do it. Your experiences aren't going to be exactly like everyone else. And even if people try to share with you every bit of wisdom they know, they're going to forget some things. Some things you just have to learn by experience. So while you're in your job, you're going to stick your toe in the side hustle water. Don't beat yourself up about playing it quote unquote safe. Pat yourself on the back for playing it smart. No job shaming around here. You won't ever hear me do it. I will stop anyone else from doing it. There is a way for you to experience a both and we're going to talk about that this week as we dive into how to start your side hustle. All right, so I'll see you back here tomorrow. I'm happy to have you here. So until then, go out there and create something sexy. Keep working that job, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.